Welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share the wisdom. Pull up a chair and join us with today's guest. Welcome to the special episode of Wisdom on the Front Porch, celebrating our 100th episode. I'm pretty excited about that. And we have our guests today, both Joe and Violet Detre. And I'm so glad they're here. I met them both through I think it was through Johnny Dobbs is where I met you, Joe. And then I met Violet later. I think we did a book or something together. And then Joe, you had your training on how to have a real podcast. So I went from just Facebook videos to doing a podcast. And here I am 3 years later and a 100th episode. I'm so excited about it. So,
All right.
I would like to thank you both for all that you've done to help me on my journey. You've both been really great mentors, coaches, and it's just been a joy to get to know you as people too. However, our audience probably doesn't know who you are. They might, but there might be some who don't. So I'll let you tell, each of you take some time and tell a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Good.
Congratulations on your 100th episode. So awesome. I'm so excited to be here. Very honored that you asked us on. So we're happy and glad to be here.
Yes. Thank you so much. Would you like to go first?
I'm Violet Detre, his better half, speaker, 5-time author. Nothing in compare to you, Linda, because you got so many, like 80, 90, 100 books now under your belt. And going. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That's an achievement in and of itself right there.
And I'm a Christian business coach and also a kingdom productivity coach and prophetic certified prophetic trainer.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, and I'm Joe Detre. The other half, slightly better, but I don't know. She is the better half. She keeps me in check. I'm Joe Detre. I'm a certified John Maxwell coach. Former military, 22 and a half years to be exact, a military veteran, and also podcaster, as you mentioned earlier. And I like to do challenges, but I also like to help people start their own podcasts and coach them through the process. I'm also an author, like you said. I'm on my third book? My third book. Yeah, recently published another book, 50 Things I Wish I Knew Sooner.
Awesome.
And it was just it's a compilation of like 50 years of learning lessons, and I aimed it toward young people that were like in that area, just coming out of high school, going into college, and like, hey, they're like wondering what am I going to do in life? What's my purpose? What are some of the things I need to know? What I don't know, type of thing, and I just share those things that I wish I knew, and I'm pretty sure they wish they knew too. That helps them along the journey. So.
And we're going to be married 30 years in December. And we're also fellow Texans, just like you, LS.
I think you're more Texan than me. Haven't been here that long.
Well, Joe's from Miami, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a what do you call it? Transplant too. So.
There you go. Yeah. Transplants are good too.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you both for being here. I also want to thank you for helping me out on some of my podcasts when I had lost my voice. Both Joe and Violet came on the show. I gave them instructions in the chat. We talked a little bit before, but it was kind of like here. and they offered to help me out and do my shows. And so I have a couple of those up on YouTube, and I really appreciate just your kindness and your friendship, and to do something like that for a fellow podcaster. That was really wonderful, and it kept the show going, and my guests were pleased with it too. Very, very great interviews.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and thank you for reaching out to us. And you know what, a rising tide lifts all boats, and you know what, in a community of podcasters, a community of believers, one of the things we do enjoy is helping one another out, because you know what, whenever you need help, you want to have somebody there to be ready, and like, hey, we got to make ourselves available. So we're glad to help you as well. And look, you've inspired us. Look, you're like have energy. You're always doing things. You're always helping people out, and you're an inspiration to us too. So
Oh,
thank you for
thank
that.
you. Yeah, thank
Yeah, we
you.
were happy to step in and help, and thank you for the guidance prior to that. And I hope that we made you proud.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I was just thinking you have the Kingdom Impact Award behind you, and I think that's where I met you, Violet, for the first time was with Life on Fire, and through there, um, that was really great. I enjoy that community. Got to know some really amazing, wonderful people. Still friends, 3.5 years later, and still communicating, still connecting with them, and with you. So I want to know, as fellow podcasters, why do you like to podcast? And we can start with Violet and then Joe.
Oh, well, I no longer podcast. I did a YouTube channel. It was 52 episodes. That's the idea that I got. So I said, okay, I'll do it for 52 episodes. And I wanted people that actually had success so that they can help people like me and like other people that were in Life on Fire that hadn't gotten that, that little switch to help get them into success. So there were some of us that were like, well, we're following God's heart, we're in God's will, we're believers, and why isn't success happening for us like it has for other people? So that was my idea, or maybe it was a God idea, to interview people that were already there so that we can get their secrets, reveal their secrets on how, we could reach success more effectively and avoid like those traps, those
Right.
little obstacles, go around them or above them or however we have to, to complete our kingdom assignment. So for me, it was, I would always go on there. Well, first I was interviewing people, and then I said, well, let me continue going because it's fun. And I've always been, pardon?
I agree with you. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and but it was a lot of work. And then for me, I've been the quietest woman that I've ever known, and people actually would think that I was arrogant because I would just be quiet and I would listen more than I would talk.
Yeah.
So, but then when I turned on the camera, all of a sudden, like all these words came out of my mouth, and I'm like, wow, this feels like I'm in the flow. So I would say, well, I'm going to go on for 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And it would end up like a 30-minute thing. And I still had stuff to say. So I'm like, okay, let me share, encourage people, motivate them, help them to, my thing was joy. So encourage them to do things with joy because that's what helped me. As you know, I attempted suicide. And that was one of the things that helped me to break free from that. And since then, it's helped me in entrepreneurship, in my relationship, with my husband and other relationships. So that's what I felt like I wanted to share with other people.
That's awesome. And you have a lot of joy.
Oh, thank you.
And what about you, Joe? How did you get started?
Oh wow. That's a long story, and I'll try to keep it short. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. One of my podcasts, I was like, all right, let me just do a 5-minute podcast and yada. No, just kept on going. Well, I started a podcast because I retired from the military. This was back in 2020.
Okay.
And I said, what am I going to do, Lord? What's going to happen? Yeah, just before COVID, all that stuff. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then COVID happened, right?
Right.
And I wanted to go into coaching, leadership, and all that kind of stuff. But then COVID happened, like, can't do it. So one of our mentors, one of our coaches at the time, he's like, hey, Joe, start a podcast. I'm like, what? Start a podcast?
But who told you first?
Huh?
Who told you first?
Well, it was Nick.
Or Violet?
Violet. Well, Violet was saying that I should talk about leadership and things like that, not necessarily podcasting, because we didn't know about it. But she was like, you should do leadership, and so she was kind of prodding me along. And then Nick talked about podcasting, Nick Unsworth. And I was like, huh. So I did a little research on the internet, and it's like, got some basic tips here and there. And I started doing a podcast. It's called Leader Talk. And I was like, Lord, what am I going to do? Who am I going to interview? Because I didn't just want to do it by myself. I wanted to, I'm a good listener because Violet told me I'm a good listener and whatever.
He also has the gift of
And I have the
gab.
gift of gab sometimes, depending on my mood. I need coffee in the morning or something. But, and then the Lord told me, he said, well, you know people. And he said, write it down. You know a whole bunch of people that are leaders because you want to talk about leadership. And I wanted to talk about leadership from a faith-based perspective of people that have been in business, have led, and that will help other people learn leadership skills, and then where they might be stuck in business or stuck in, entrepreneurship or stuck in their job and they want a promotion. Learn best from leaders. Ask the leaders, their best tips, lessons learned, and then that's how it started to develop. And it was fun. It was fun doing it. I learned a lot about me. I learned a lot about other people, and then some people that I interviewed, they got breakthrough just from me interviewing them. If that
Isn't
makes
that
sense.
fun? Oh yeah, I love
It is.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I
So
remember
it was
when
learning this and that. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Are you
sorry.
talking about
Yeah.
Dave?
No.
He has this awesome guy that came on his podcast, and he like didn't know what to do. He was
Oh.
like awkward, so
Oh.
Joe had to help him out, and now he's like doing amazing
He's
in
doing
podcasting.
amazing. In podcasting, it has paid a show on the West
Wow.
Coast, and he's just doing amazing job. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you are a good teacher. I have to say that. I love taking your class. Very instructive, very, very simple. It wasn't super complicated. It wasn't, you have to do all of this stuff. And you made it in a way that's enjoyable to learn, and it sticks with you.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know what to do. It's was very, very clear. I like the clarity of it. So yeah, good teacher.
I
So I
appreciate that.
definitely understand it.
Mhm.
But I agree, I in one of my very early episodes, in fact, I don't even know if it's recorded anymore. Might have been one of the live ones on Facebook that I first did. Had a gentleman on there who came in, and we were talking about being worthy and being enough, and he goes, huh, I guess I am enough. And it just kind of blew me away. It's like, wow, just out of nowhere. I never would have guessed that this person would have ever thought maybe he wasn't. And it's just amazing what interaction you can get from just talking with people. And I think that's what I really loved about Wisdom on the Front Porch, because that's all we're doing. We're sitting together, we're talking as if we were just sitting on the front porch, having a great conversation and inviting the world into it, the more the merrier.
Mhm.
That's
Definitely. I mean, there was another guest that I had on, and he was interviewing me. Well, actually, yeah. I was on somebody else's podcast because he heard about my podcast.
okay.
And I was talking about forgiveness and how we need to forgive ourselves. Because we understand that God forgives us. We understand about, forgiving others. But sometimes we have a hard time, sometimes the hardest time to forgive ourselves from our past mistakes. And
Right.
he had a moment right in the middle of the interview about forgiving himself about his relationship with his son, and how he thought he was condemning himself because his son didn't, turn out. He was going through a bad part in his life,
Right.
and
Right.
and the father was blaming himself. But he's like, no, you know what? I need to forgive myself because he understood that he did his best, and his son had to make his own choices in life.
Right.
Couldn't blame
Right.
himself. It was so deep, so deep. Yeah,
Wow.
but I'm just glad I was a part of that process. So
That's
God does
wonderful.
wonderful things.
Yeah. And it may not have happened if he hadn't been on your podcast. It's just amazing what can happen and the change that happens in somebody. Um,
Mhm.
I know I have, gosh, so many people that I've talked with, well, when you think about 100 plus all the ones before, and I enjoyed having them come back again to see where they are now, what progress they made. Some of them have made a total change. They started out doing this and they were excited about it and they were doing so well, and they end up selling that business and now they're on another one, and it's like, wow, that's incredible. But I agree with both of you. It's helping our audience get to where they want to be, and whether it's in their personal life or it's in their business. With me, it's more entrepreneurship, and of course I have the books. When people write a book, they come on and we talk about that, find out their why did you write it, what do you want the audience to get out of it, the readers to get from it. And sometimes it's surprising what they want the readers to learn from the book. It's not always, what the title says. It's something else. And it's incredible. But I love that we touch so many lives for the better. And there's nothing better than that, I think.
Yeah. And that's ultimately, I believe, what every podcast is about touching lives. I mean, some there are, but it's about, marketing, selling things, but ultimately it's about changing people's lives, or should be.
Yeah. Giving them that hope. So what do you like best, Violet, about being a podcaster?
Well, for me, what I like best is being interviewed.
Awesome.
Because when I had my podcast, it was like a lot of work, even though Joe helped me a lot with the editing and the technical aspects of it, it was still like trying to figure out the right messaging, trying to figure out the right thing to put on the thumbnail, trying to figure out like, how do we frame it in a certain way so that it'll be attractive to people and make sure that we get some attention for the person that I interviewed, because I didn't want to just, go on there and just do it for no reason, but I wanted them to get value. I wanted them to say, hey, I did a good thing here to partner up with Violet, and she got me some contacts, some sales, things like that. So a lot of that the work in the background, it was a little bit too much. But what I actually liked from it was being able to meet all these people, being able to be part of their journey, being able to hear their journey. Joe used to call me the queen of questions. So it kind of was a good fit. Oh, the camera went blurry. It kind of was a good fit because I just enjoyed digging into their lives, not in a bad way, but, getting to know more about their heart, their like you were saying, Linda, your why, and being able to extract, the good parts of it so that we can get it out there. So meeting all these different types of people, I was able to get some millionaires on my show. I was able to get some like high profile people on there that people were surprised, like, wow, how did you get that person on there? And I almost got Myron Golden on my show, but he couldn't figure out the tech. But he was very gracious. He said like yes right away, but he couldn't find out the system. So, and then by that time I was already ending the actual series. But just like, I guess, making new friends in the entrepreneurship arena. And so it's another way, I guess, to network and be connected to other people's audiences. And I just love being able to highlight them for other people too. So those are some good things that I remember from that.
And I agree with that. It's like, we have the podcast and now I'm in the position where, all right, we've had the podcast, we do the shorts, but I want to do more. How do I highlight them more? How do I still keep them going? And so we're coming up with a few ways to do that. I've had to do some restructuring with my team and it's been great. I'm enjoying it. And I never would have ever guessed this was possible. 3 years ago, somebody said I would be doing this. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. But here I am. Here I am. And celebrating our 100th episode. That's just incredible. It's like, wow, it finally happened. You know, yeah. Um, do you ever find, Joe, that sometimes you get overwhelmed with it? Like you've got too many guests, you're trying to play catch up and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of like juggling, trying to do our real estate business. Then I was doing the podcasting. Then I was trying to learn how to do some stock options and trying to do these other types of investments. And I was like, well, a couple of times I forgot. I was like, oh my gosh, I have an interview today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get ready. Who am I interviewing? What's going on? And for me, I don't like to be behind like that
Yes.
because I want to like if I'm interview somebody, I want to do some research on them. I want to read up about them. I want to actually listen to some of their previous interviews.
Now, B, I'm the opposite. I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
the less I know, the better, because I want to be surprised,
There
and
you
I
go,
want
jump
to
right
just
in there.
dig.
Oh man. Well, see, yeah, and I mean, there's different contrasts, right? But it's like
Right.
the reason why I did, so like if I catch something that they're talking about and it's related to our what I'm talking about and interviewing and it might complement, I like to catch those things.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but man, oh yeah, it got overwhelming. It was like right in the middle of it, and
And Joe
I
likes
was like,
to edit like the ums and the
oh
ahs
my
and
gosh,
and I'm like,
yeah,
just leave it raw. Just one take and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah.
good.
Yeah, that happened. That happened for like I would say like 60% of my podcasts. Then after that, I was like, you know what? Let's, now if it's something like egregious, then I'm like, okay,
Right.
let's just take that out, whatever.
Oh,
But like
absolutely.
the ums and ahs and, I was just like, yeah, let's keep it real, and
Right.
just roll with it.
Right. Yeah,
But
my
yeah, in the beginning, yeah,
Earhart said that
I was
too. Yeah, definitely. Because
It,
I found out that when I was editing all of those out, it almost sounded too sterile. Like it was
mm,
bad.
programmed. It wasn't casual. It wasn't just sitting together on the porch. And
Mm-hmm.
I had decided this is good. Like you said, if there's a big break or there's something that's going on, you want to edit that out. But otherwise, it's like leave it in there. It sounds like a real conversation then because they are.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
what
so
Joe would tell me a lot was like, oh, I wish I would have recorded the first part when we were just,
Oh,
going back and forth and catching up and
yeah,
chit-chatting, like the green room stuff,
yes.
yes,
because there was
yes,
gold in there, but,
yes.
he wouldn't think about it until later.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can use Riverside, you can use Zoom. Zoom, I just automatically record everything. And it's great because you can go back and listen to that. It's like, oh yeah, I wanted to be sure and do that. So I could write it down when I'm on the other one. I have to hit record when it's time to go. So all the talking and everything we're doing, like you're saying, in the green room doesn't get recorded. And my sweet brain, I love it, but sometimes it doesn't always hold everything and store it in the places that I can find it again. So it's like I don't have that backup, but it's all good. It works out. It seems like what you really need to be and know, and that's why we have little post-it notes on our desk. So write those
Mhm.
down. Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you, Violet. There is a lot of background work, a lot that people don't see. And with you, Joe, yeah, you want to do a little bit of background work. Sometimes I do, I try to get my questions set up so I don't have to do too much work because sometimes I've got so many other things going on. I understand what you're saying, but I do like the fresh. I don't know anything about you. Let's just have this conversation and see how it goes. And the one thing that I do like are the comments I get back from my guests is that I didn't think it was know how it was going to go, but this was a really great conversation. And I love hearing that. It was a great conversation, really kept things going. I'm glad I was there. And that's encouraging because it means to me that I am doing my job. I mean, this is a job. This is interviewing the guests, letting them get their message out, what they want to say, but we're also giving our audience what they need, giving the entrepreneurs how to get further in your business, how to deal with life and business and family and kids, especially with all the holidays coming up. You know, the Wisdom on the Front Porch magazine, our November, December issue comes out November 15th, talks a lot about how to handle the holidays while you're doing business, while you've got your families, because a lot of them are blended families. How do you connect with everybody? And so there's a lot of great information in there this time. But yeah, having kind of podcasts, it really does open up other doors for other things. I've incorporated now reading between the words into the Wisdom on the Front Porch magazine. It just flows better. It's going to be out there. It's easier to work together. But it's another way to showcase someone who's written a book. So Joe, you know, you've got another book out and we need to talk.
Yes, definitely.
And talk,
Yeah.
talk
Schedule
live.
time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what are you two doing right now? What are your important things that you have going on?
Well, I just got a speaking gig, a local mental health organization. I was reaching out to different places, you know, colleges and women's groups, business groups, because, you know, like, you know how people say, and that, oh, you know, writing a book is so laborious and it's the hardest thing ever. And I was able to write one book in one day, edit it and everything. And I know you, LS, have some awesome tips to do that too. But I'm like, to me, it was the last few of the books that we've self-published have been like magic. Like, wow, how did this go from my brain onto paper, onto Amazon, like right away? I want to share this with other people. And so those are also workshops that I wanted to do.
Nice.
But as I was reaching out to all these people, like for the business groups, I wanted to share that having a book is your best business card. You know, it could build authority. But it was the mental health organization that reached out to me, and they want me to talk about, you know, joy and how I got out of depression from that.
Oh, good.
And this lady's very excited. And, you know, when I called because I couldn't find the email, I had to call, and she's like, well, who's this? Or what are you calling for? And for me, you know, it was like an awkward conversation. But when she heard what I wanted to share, she was very excited. And then I didn't hear a call back. And I said, oh man, you know, another disappointment. And, you know, I've been trying all these months. My mentor, he's the one that challenged me to get a paid speaking gig by December 2025, you know, by the end of the year. So I was like, oh, well, honey, let's go to this place. I'm going to go in person, give him a book. And right after our meeting, she sent me an email. Everything's approved. We got you know, your date is going to be during this time. They have the auditorium set up. They're going to have the AV. She sent me the flyer already before I got home.
Nice.
So, and they're like, yeah, we're going to invite these people from the community, and we're going to have some giveaways. And so hopefully we'll have, you know, at least 30 people there, and it'll get me more visibility here in my hometown, because now I'm living back in my hometown. And that's one of the things that I'm up to. And also, like, you know, that I'm a certified prophetic trainer. So I love doing workshops to activate believers to recognize and respond to the voice of God through our various senses, not just, you know, because it's not just the Bible you hear from. It's not just from the pulpit that you hear from, but you also see, perceive, feel, sense. And there's like the mystical realm that we're all wired to hear from God in so many ways. And when I went to this workshop, and they had us like cover our eyes, or, you know, keep our eyes closed, and they put someone in front of us, and we didn't know if it was male, female, tall, short, you know. But what I saw was so accurate. I was like, oh, I need more of this. If this is possible for me. So, you know, I'm excited to do more of that too. And then, just the book writing, Joe. Well, I guess you could tell what you're doing, but
Yeah.
the book writing and the real estate. So, and also I got certified through Kingdom Life Coaching. So, which you helped me with that too, Ellis. And I'm also in a women's entrepreneurship group for eCornell, sponsored by Bank of America. And so I'll have my certificate in December.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You reminded me of, I was watching a YouTube video on Stephen King, and he said the first rejection letter he got, he actually nailed it to the wall. In fact, he got so many no's that the nail fell off the wall because it was too full. So he put up a second nail and just kept doing that until he finally got his yes. And we need to do that. It's hard. It's hard to have those rejections. It's hard to have, sometimes people don't show up for the podcast for whatever reason. They've forgotten or things got in the way and they weren't able to let me know ahead of time. And it's like, when I feel bad because did I not do something to help them get to the show on time or, what's going on? And because I wanted to really showcase them, I was excited to let the world know about them. But still having those no's, it's like, okay, am I doing something wrong? And we have to stop that. It's not always about us. It's about life happens, and that's all it is. Life happens. So I'm really glad you kept with it and kept going, and congratulations. That's exciting. So Joe, what about you?
Well, I'm still in the throes of promoting my book, and then
Sorry, I had to
while
put
the
the dogs out.
process, I'm sorry. Oh,
I had to put the dogs out. Sorry.
that's funny. That's funny. No, yeah, just still in the throes of promoting my book. I'm going into my pre-Black Friday sales for my book,
Nice.
discounting it. But in the process of doing that, which was interesting because God was telling me to put this book together. And then when I launched the book, you advertise, you send it out to your email list, you do social media. But the funny thing was when I advertised my book to my family members, one of my family members reached back and was like, "Hey, can you help me out with my book?" And I was like, well, yeah, it was one of my aunts, and it touched my heart because she reached out to me, and if I wouldn't have reached out to my family, because I was kind of hesitant to reach out to my family, but
Right.
I was like, no, no, go ahead, reach out to them, send out a text, whatever. But if I didn't do that, she wouldn't have known that I published my book, and then God was putting it on her heart to publish her book because she wrote like 10 or 20 stories of like little stories for her grandkids and
Nice.
grand nieces and nephews
In Spanish.
in Spanish. And
Oh,
that the family loved the stories and they told her, you need to write a book. So when she was praying, she prayed to God the weekend prior to me publishing my book. Hey, God, I need some help. Well, to help somebody help me write my book. And then when I sent that text out, that was for her an answer to God's prayer. I was like, well, I'm glad I was the answer to God's prayer. And she just published her book too. And she
With your
became
help.
with my help, yes, because she sent me her manuscript and I helped her to format it and everything else like that. And I helped her to upload it to KDP. And overnight, over the weekend, I should say, over the weekend, she became number one in children's books and grandparent stories. And I was like,
wow.
yay! So that's what I'm in the
And
middle
she
of
got
doing.
emotional.
And she got emotional. Start almost made me cry too because she was just so overwhelmed, and it was a dream come true for her to be able to become an author.
And you also helped the podcast babes.
And oh yeah, yes, and I helped the podcast babes too. Violet's part of another group called the Podcast Babes, and they were having some stuff going on with putting their book together, and I voluntarily raised my hand up, and say, "Well, let me help you out." So, and then
And we were helping them out, like
yeah,
telling them our experiences, whatever we've learned, so that they could apply it. Because this lady had a big vision about them becoming international number one bestsellers. So we're like, yeah, we'll share whatever we can with you. I even did a workshop for them, how to be able to write their book quicker, or at least how I did it quicker. And then Joe, Joe also, I volunteered him because I know he has a lot of talents. And he's like, sure, I'll get on some Zooms with them and, help them out with little things. And
then, and
they sold 500 books.
Yeah, 500
Wow.
books, yeah, and became international bestsellers in Canada, UK, and Australia. Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
that's pretty cool.
That is
That was
so
pretty
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's what I've been up
wonderful.
to.
And you may be asking how we do all this stuff. Well, I'm also a Kingdom productivity coach. So I help people with productivity to, be able to manage everything with balance, with ease, be able to put everything in the proper place in their calendar. So I'm doing a clean up your calendar challenge so that in 2026, they could just go strong and reach their goals.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I'll
that's
probably be
awesome.
the tech guy. And I'll be the tech guy in the background.
There you go. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love
Yeah.
that you work so well together, that you support others. That's the big thing about it, is we need to serve others. That's what I love about podcasting, is I'm not only serving my guests, but I'm serving my audience. I'm helping people grow in as many ways as they can. And that's really, for me, that's what it's all about, is being there for others, helping them get what they need to do. So I love for the audience and the listeners to be able to write in. They go to wisdomonthefrontporch.com. They can say what shows they want to know about, what they want to learn more about. How come you don't have this or have this person there? Well, let me know. I'll do everything I can to accommodate and to get them there,
Yeah.
because that's what this is about, is to helping you, our audience, grow in your business and get further in your life to be that wonderful person you are, and you're struggling to get there. Some are struggling, some are not. But yeah, anything I can do to help out, let me know. So what I love about the giving book too, we're in volume 5 now, and it's wonderful. It's not one main theme. The theme is giving from your heart to other people's hearts, but we do it through photographs, through sayings, through quotes, through memoirs, short stories, artwork. I love the artwork that comes in. It's just amazing. And I'm really proud to be able to feature my grandson, who does anime work. He's autistic, so he doesn't always get to have his stuff out there like a lot of other people. In fact, I remember the first book that I did, he was in that one, and he was just so proud to have his work featured in a book. And I think he's in just about every one of them after that. So it's great. I love giving people a place for their message to be heard, not only on the podcast, but also in the giving book.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
And Joe had anime characters on his cover.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It was interesting. With the AI and everything else like that, I asked the AI to create like a couple of anime characters, like asking questions of themselves, and like a boy and a girl, and it did a pretty interesting, pretty
and then
cool
my
job.
brother, who's a graphic designer, gave you some feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
So you tweaked it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He gave me some feedback, and I asked the AI to, hey, can you, fix this, fix that, and it came back with some more different, better, I guess, better renditions of the characters.
And we've gotten such great feedback about the cover, the content. There's this lady that said, "This book makes me want to pick up my Bible again."
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
There's a song now that's called Dust on the Bible. You want to take that dust off of it? Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. So thank you both for being here on my show. Thank you for helping me to celebrate my 100th episode, and for being such a vital part of Wisdom on the Front Porch, helping me out with my guests when I had no voice, literally, to do that. So, all right. So thank you so much. And let our audience know just where they can get a hold of both of you.
Well, my website is violetdetre.com, or you can also reach out to me on Instagram at violet_Detre.
Okay.
And, yeah, mine is simple too. Mine is joedetre.com. And that's where you can find all my stuff and things that I do, my podcasts, books, all the stuff, all the things.
Awesome.
And you can reach out to me too there if anybody wants to do like a 30-minute, coaching call or breakthrough call. They can go there as well.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Of course, you can always find me at wisdomonthefrontporch.com. And thank you so much both for being here. And we'll see you, our audience, next time sitting on the front porch with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
Thank you, my Front Porch friends and neighbors, for pulling up a chair with me and my guest today on Wisdom on the Front Porch. Now, if you've got value from this conversation, would you do me a favor? Leave a quick review, then share it with someone you know who could use some inspiration. It helps more friends find their seat on the porch. And hey, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what's next. Until then, keep the porch light on for new wisdom every time you show up. Your seat's always here for you on the porch.